Ooh, week's end. Week's end. It's time for week's end. Yeah. Where did I even get
everybody.
this? I don't even know why I have this thing.
That looks like. So, are you in the Avengers Tower, or are you more like the raised ranch?
Yeah, more like the Avengers raised ranch. Let's be honest. I wish I had Tony Stark's resources, but I have
Well,
one
you've got the things
quadrillionth of it.
that count. You've got the things that count. You've got the
I do.
uniform. You've got the time travel suit, and most importantly, you have the shield.
And the matching hat, by the way.
There we go.
I just want to throw that out there. I just feel like you needed to see that. All right, what do we got to talk about for week's end this week?
Well, you know
Mr. Ryan Boyles Water.
We have quite a lot, actually. I don't know if you've heard of this thing called the internet, but it's nonstop.
The hyperglobal meganet?
Yeah. There's a series of tubes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And
it flows like water?
Yeah. We have talked about Apollo.
That sounds logical.
On the show, right? We've talked about Apollo 11. We've talked about other things. But today is actually 1 year ago. Yesterday was the actual 50th anniversary that you and I guess, were a small part of working for IBM. We played a part in the Apollo 11 in the moonshot with the journey to the moon, the first journey to the moon.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool that the National Air and Space Museum showed, 1 year later, the Saturn V rocket on the side of the Washington Monument with their Go for the Moon initiative, which continues.
Super cool. I thought that was great. It's always fun to see that stuff, man. And I mean, not just because we're space nerds and we love the history and the power and the adventure and the exploration and everything that went into that, but also just because there's a lot of, past and present colleagues and that worked on that. And we got to hang out with Gene Kranz and get to know Dr. Kennedy and Rod Pyle. And, you met Harrison Jack Schmidt. I love saying that name. Schmidt. You got to meet the Schmitty. I doubt anybody calls him that. And, that stuff's really cool. I
I'm going to show you something else, though. On space.com this week, speaking of space, we have something that's not related to the moon, but deep space. And they were saying that there's these 4 mysterious objects that have been found, and we don't know what's going on. I mean, it's 2020, so it could be anything.
I know what it is.
Yeah?
It's cake. You have to cut it down the middle, and you'll see that it's cake.
So you're going to have to help me out with this. Everybody and their mother has been talking about cake.
I love this video.
I just don't know. I think you were talking about cake, and I'm like, I was so heads down.
Dude, it's just so crazy. So it's one of these things that, it got out of control really, really quickly, right? So somebody somewhere in the interwebs posted a video of them taking an object that looked like the object, right?
Yep.
Sponsored by Polar Seltzer. And they cut it down the middle, and it's revealed to be cake. And there's some term for it. It's a weird frosting that they use that makes things look real. It's actually it's stale. But anyway, and it's just one of these things where there was everything was, I love how you keep starting this video right when the guy's grabbing his ass. I mean, that I got to tell you, Ryan, that does not look good. Please let the video run starting from the beginning. Wow. So there you go, right? And what was amazing about this, first of all, some of the effects and videos are astounding. They really are. But there's one guy that cuts a glass of water and it's cake. But what really not impressed me, but blows my mind away is how fast these things spread and become a global sensation. I mean, we went from no cake to global cake in less than the time it takes to cook a pie or cake.
You're right.
And it was just everywhere. And that's the stuff. I mean, we're social strategists, man. We see that stuff and it's what's my cake strategy?
What's my cake strategy? There you go. Well, right. Well, that leads me to the next story, which is we are in the midst of a global pandemic. I don't know if you've heard. And not to, make light of that, but there's been, quite frankly, the biggest debate going on right now is around the proper procedures for wearing masks and for social distance. So I thought this sign definitely does. This person definitely, deserves a raise. But I would say,
I love that.
Do you think this is effective, though? Do you think making light is actually going to make people do it more or ignore it?
So if it's making light of it in a way that's encouraging a good behavior, sure. I mean, come on, man. We all know what this safe sex, right? I mean, we get it. So yeah, I think that's clever. But if you're making fun of it, especially with some of the political stuff we've seen, that can be a problem, in my humble opinion, right?
Yeah.
But something like that, where it gets your attention, it makes you laugh, it makes you think, and honestly, that sticks. And if that's what it takes right now, that's fine. Or if we need a hero like this, I mean, if that's what it takes, the original Rosie the Riveter. Back on the front lines, offering up a new message for 2020: wear the damn mask. You know, I've got one here. I got another one here. I've got 4 of them in the truck. I've got 2 of them on the desk back here. I mean, they're always in my pocket. They're always on me at any time. Wear a damn mask.
Yeah, it's pretty
94 years old.
Pretty simple to understand, I think. So let's not get too much into this, but I just think it's nice to see sort of. To me, it's nice to see some of this. I wanted to talk about music, and you know that I'm wearing the hat, but I thought it was
for what band?
This is the video we talked about on the previous show, We Americans.
Oh yeah.
Rosanne Cash just gave a shout out on Twitter, which I thought was nice. She said it got stuck in her head, and I think for me, music is like we talked about on the last show, like it's that thing that kind of centers you right now, and helps you honestly get through your day, right?
It does. I mean, I have my Amazon music on all the time, going through my headphones all the time.
Yep. So Rosanne Cash was just calling this, she thinks it's the anthem for the moment, which I think.
Right, so help me out though, real quick. I don't know who's Rosanne Cash.
Well, she is related. You don't know who? Okay. There's this guy named Johnny Cash.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. All right. Yeah. Right then.
Little bit of country rock and roll royalty there, but
yes. Now I know exactly who it is.
And I actually have a story. I can't remember. Have we talked about this on the show? I went to a music festival a few years ago here in Raleigh called the Hopscotch, and Roseanne's daughter was playing. I went to see her at a dive, and I was tweeting about the show. Roseanne tweeted at me and said, "Can you have my daughter call me tonight?"
Oh my God!
So
okay.
It's kind of funny.
That is kind of funny.
Chelsea, great show. I wanted to talk about my mom for a sec. Like, we don't get super. I don't know.
Hey, Mom.
My mom turned 70 on the 8th, and she's a 5-year cancer survivor of breast cancer. And so for her birthday, like many do now, she's not some kind of social media genius, but she was just like, "Look, all the well wishes are fine, but would love it if you donate to St. Jude's, which is a children's, cancer research hospital," which I think is just great.
That is great. Also, I like your accent. It sounded like you said all the whale wishes. All the whale wishes.
Yeah.
Well, let me see if I can do some whale song. No, that's not whale song. That's just me yawning.
I don't know where the picture's from, but it's like, I don't know. I have some old cameras. This is like the square format picture.
And that lighthouse, it doesn't look familiar to you?
Not really. I know this is probably North Carolina coast.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
We're from here, and my family hasn't gone far, really. But I'm assuming this is probably before I was born. So this is like early 70s.
Well, I would certainly think so based on that photo, buddy.
Yep.
Way to go, Rap Mom.
Shout out to my moms. All right.
That's awesome.
We got some feel good stories today.
Oh yeah, I love this. Yeah, Captain America. So this was cool.
Yeah.
So this little boy, what a little hero, Bridger. So his baby sister was about to be attacked by a dog, and this kid jumps in front of the dog, gets pretty roughed up and injured himself, quite frankly, but saves his sister. I mean, real heroic story. Yeah. So Chris Evans reaches out to him to say, hey man, we need more heroes like you in the world, you know, and in sort of a someone get this man a shield thing, offers to send him an authentic Captain America shield, which you can see mounted on the wall behind me. So he's actually sending him a shield. I'm sure he's going to sign it, autograph it. It'll probably be, you know, maybe something from one of the movies or who knows what. And, you know, this kid deserves it. He's a real little hero. But what was really cool is earlier today, Robert Downey Jr., in such a typical Tony fashion, gets on. He's like, hey, Bridger, my name is Robert Downey Jr., and I play Tony. Doesn't even say Iron Man, which I thought was great. Right. And he's like, I hear Captain America offered to send you a shield. That's cool, I guess. But he's like, I want you to do me a favor and call me on your birthday. Now, I saw a sort of shortened clip of the video, so I don't think he says what he's going to do. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling he's going to dress up as Iron Man or send him a, you know, one of the suit helmets or just something awesome. And you know what?
He can just get.
Honestly, they can all jump in. All the Avengers can jump in on this.
He can just ask the new AI to spin up a suit and just send it over, right? I mean, that's how.
Of course, that's that. Let's not let science get in the way of this. So,
I think the main thing that Tony was upset about, that Robert Downey Jr. was upset about, was this kid looks so fantastic in his Captain America suit, right?
He does.
And it's really,
he really does.
The tragedy is, if you actually go, there were photos of his face where it was mauled, and it's just, I think 90 plus stitches, just heartbreaking.
No, the kid's a hero.
Heartbreaking.
He's awesome. He's awesome. He deserves the shield. He deserves more than that.
I mean,
no doubt about it.
The quote from this kid was like, he figured if somebody had to die, it should be him. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was tearing up about that.
Wow. I didn't know that. Or maybe I did know that.
So he is a hero. I know that some of the other Avengers.
He's a hero. That's the only part that counts.
Well, I know that Thor called him. I'm sure there's going to be others, but this is just fantastic. I love to see.
I love that. I love that.
Not really related, and I don't have the video at my fingertips, but the internet melted down yesterday also because apparently Superman was building a PC. So so Henry Cavill is the Superman from Zack Snyder's universe. The rumors are he's coming back. There was a lot of.
Oh, he's totally coming back.
I don't.
He's coming back.
I mean, Warner and DC is screwing up if they don't. I mean, he is Superman, and I think a lot of people,
coming back.
A lot of people, have accepted Batfleck and want him back too. But Henry Cavill was in like a muscle shirt, literally assembling piece by piece an entire PC. So
I know. There's soccer moms everywhere building computers now, I'm sure.
Frankly, you might have to shield your children's eyes from those tweets. There was a lot of discussion.
I don't doubt it.
One of our buddies, I think a mutual acquaintance of you and I, I'm going to bring this one up on the screen real quick. Anil Dash. How do you know Anil, first of all?
Just the Twitterverse, man.
The internet.
I think I met him at a show, or I have definitely interacted with him in person. I just can't remember. I mean, dude, we've been to so many hundreds of shows over the years. I don't know anymore, but I know who he is.
I know Vivid.
And by the way, viewers, if you don't, you should. So go check him out.
He's definitely the guy to follow. He's OG blogging, Web 2.0, all that stuff from the early, like what we would call the early days of the social web. I met him at my very first tech conference, that was not tech conference, but like blogging conference, back when we had those.
A blogference?
He was a speaker. Well, I mean, when we had blog, like the subject of blogging was the only thing we talked about. Wow. And so great guy, but he said, okay, Henry Cavill building a PC is cool, but how about Ben Affleck from 20 years ago talking about, Commodore 64, which I loved. I had when I was a kid.
Absolutely.
And apparently he was predicting some internet trends around streaming, which is kind of like a time capsule, right? So there's some quotes from this interview, but the funniest thing I thought was Anil had hashtag release the Snyder floppy disk. Ayo.
Nice. Love that. Love that.
But this is just, it's fascinating.
Right? Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I think.
What you got? What you got?
I have the Snyder floppy disk. It's right here.
Oh my God.
I have it. Believe it or not.
So
yeah, it's an AT&T IBM formatted.
Did you put on the hat and like go back in time for that? Was that?
Wait, ready for the satisfying.
There we go. Nice.
So satisfying. Hold on, I got to lock it and make sure nobody overwrites it.
However, this is the issue I have. That was when, so PCs, that was the format that was most prevalent, and with like the Apple II. Commodore 64 was 5.5 inches, baby.
Oh no, dude, those were the big floppies. That's like a, yeah. No, you're talking the original floppies. But we could go even further back. You want to talk about the original floppy?
There we go.
We're talking the salmon punched card right there, baby.
All right. So I got something that is going to be a bit of a new segment on the show.
Ooh.
Which
I like
I think
new segments.
Well, it's like you and me kind of, you know, there's just certain people on social that we sort of are watching every day, adding commentary, adding social commentary, sort of, you know, taking the old artifacts from, and this one in particular, I love, you love. We want everybody to follow Ultra Kill Blast on Twitter.
Yes. So this is a really great account. If you just love movies, 80s, 90s, pop culture, all that kind of stuff, this account is just a constant daily stream of joy from the Outer Rim. And every day they have little bits. And what's fun is taking them and turning them into a commentary. I don't mean stealing them. I mean doing a retweet with comments, although sometimes I steal. And doing things like the virus one you show. I think I retweeted that one as me, you know, or that feeling when you check the news lately, right? And it's just like being shocked in the face. But the whole thing is it's just a constant stream of fun. It's just fun.
It's the retro vibe. It's the retro vibe, just over and over again. RoboCop. And
Flight of the Navigator.
There's a lot of mashups as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Awesome.
I love that. I love Flight of the Navigator.
I have a question for you. It seems like I'm detecting a pattern here where, like, similar to what you've done with a couple of these quotes around, you know, Ultra Blast.
Get me going on my rant of the week.
Like, I think you've started to hone what I'm going to call Graham's rant of the week, and I think it should be a thing. I think it's something that, you know, should be.
It is a thing. It is a thing. And let me tell you. So I watched the 1989 Batman for the umpteenth time. I don't know, earlier this week. Great movie. Love it. I've got an older sister who's positively obsessed with it. And I started go back to the top for a second. I started watching this and was realizing that Joker and Jack Napier accomplishes some stuff in a couple of days that, like, nobody, it's not possible. It's not even crazy. It's just ridiculous. So scroll down, because now I'm just fired up. So the first one is recruiting a team. This guy, now let's just say he knows these criminals, right? He knows these guys, but he's able to get them from Grissom's gang to his gang, even if he already had a gang. And then he has to set up a whole hierarchy system, like with Bob. Bob is the guy. Bob, you're my number one guy, right? And like Bob just comes out of nowhere. Second point there: create and deploy a brand. Now, look, you don't just shit out a brand here, people. It takes a lot of effort. You have to. There's a process.
Look, I love your point. Not even Wayne Industries could pull this off, right?
No way, dude. You don't look at those jackets. Those jackets alone are a 6 to 8 week process just for production. Those are custom purple leather jackets with logos, matching hats. They've even got the gloves, for Christ's sake. This stuff's really hard to do. All right, next point. Next point is, and I had a typo in this one, and it's been driving me crazy all week because I meant to say a line of beauty products, and I messed up because I was so fired up when I was writing this.
That's what a rant's all about.
He creates an entire production line in days, from testing through development and production of the Smilex line, and figures out how to get them to combine. Even if you have scientists, this would be really hard to do. All right, next one. Now, I have participated in floats. I used to belong to a fraternity group, fraternal organization, not like a college one, a different one, in Clinton, Massachusetts. And we used to participate in their Memorial Day parade. And this was like 8 dudes holding a sign. Okay, right. Just walking down the street, holding a sign. No big deal. That was really hard to coordinate. And it was only 8 dudes. All right? And it took us weeks. And people would be like, oh, I can't do it, or I can do it, or I don't know what to wear. I don't know how to march. I don't want to hold the sign. I want this guy, blah, blah, blah. And it was a nightmare. And he arranges a parade float, and he secures the rights to a Prince song? I don't think so. All right, the next one is, and then meanwhile, he has time to recover from attempted chemical burns, facial reconstructive surgery, establish a new headquarters, cut out hundreds of photos, train his men how to act like mimes, dress some of them like priests, which was really weird, raid a museum, develop his posy acid, and more. All right, I'm done. But the last point is, whatever Bruce Wayne does, I totally believe it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
All right. I just want to give you...
That was my rant for the week.
I got to give it up for that, because...
Thank you.
You're giving us a lot to think about, and you're sharing your industry expertise, years of business, marketing, events. You're right. It's a large undertaking, but I'm going to let you in on a secret. I think Tim Burton was working on this film for like 5 years, 4 years, a while.
I know, but the character. Don't get me started again, Ryan.
Well, But here's the thing I appreciate is all the effort that Tim and crew put into that film. It's above almost anything.
I love that movie.
You can imagine.
That movie blew me away when I was younger. I am extremely excited to hear they're going to bring back Michael Keaton in. I don't care in whatever capacity. I understand it's the Flash goes into a different universe. I get all that. I don't even care if he's on screen for 2 seconds. I don't even care if he's in the cowl or not. But I just love that movie. The first one and the second one, so Batman and Batman Returns, the Tim Burton ones, to me, are just the whole universe he created is fantastic. I mean,
you're not a Schumacher fan?
Huh? No. Well, yes, but those are different, and these are on a totally different level. I mean, just Google Batman 1989 Axis Chemical Plant, and look at the building they created. Like, who thought of that? So the whole architecture of the film is spectacular, and I don't know, I just love it. Dun 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 dun. Da 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 da. Ryan, can you move on to something else? Because I need to carry away here.
All right, I'm going to keep it on movies for a second.
Awesome.
I have a movie story. All right. So I'm not going to dissect the production of the film. However, it gave me a lot to think about, because I went to the drive-in with my 2 sons last Monday night. Because honestly, we're struggling to figure out, other than exercise, hiking, very solitary things, what can we do? And we discovered that the Raleigh Road Drive-In here. And who wants that, right? Who needs exercise, right? There's only so much of that you can do before, frankly,
you have to eat ice cream.
Start to look like Henry Cavill, and who wants that?
No, nobody.
We went to the drive-in.
Please.
And I was going there with a very specific purpose in mind, but it's always a double feature. They're open 7 days a week. They had a 4K print of E.T. And I've not watched this film. I can't remember.
Wow.
I probably
love this movie.
And there was a lot in it that when you're rewatching it as an adult that you notice. But one of the things was just the fact that the cinematography in that movie, it's amazing.
Spielberg, brother. Spielberg.
It's amazing. And the music, my son was like, they got all wrapped up in it, you know. They're not looking at their phones. It was really kind of like magical the way that we remembered E.T. was when we were kids, I think.
Yeah.
And then you got all the intermission graphics, videos, cartoons at the drive-in, and then I think you know what I'm going to talk about here. ESP 40 is we've talked about this. It's the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. And of course, I had to. One of my primary jobs is to embarrass my children wherever I go. So I had my custom Rebel hat.
Proud of you, brother. Proud of you.
Had my velvet Darth Vader helmet shirt, and I don't know if you can notice this, but use the Force socks.
I see the socks with that, my friend. That's dad embarrassing right there. I salute you.
And then I had, it was funny, the guy that I started when I was a programmer, my office mate, who I haven't heard from in forever, he comments on the photo and is like, "Hey man, nice dad jorts."
Oh, those are total dad jorts. Hey, go back to E.T. for a second.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Somebody just wants to say something real quick.
Uh-oh.
I'll be right here. Okay, there you go. That was it.
Okay, so this is perfect. That's what I wanted to talk about. Is there's so much in that film that kind of I didn't remember or I had a new perspective on. The one thing that I wanted to pose to you, Graham, is in the middle of the film, when they take E.T. out of the house, they dress him up like the girl, their sister, the two brothers do, and they take, who is a young Drew Barrymore, by the way, they take E.T. out as a ghost for Halloween. And he's like shocked because he's seeing all these people in different costumes. And then he sees somebody in a very accurate, frankly, for the 80s costume of Yoda.
Yep.
And he thinks it's somebody from home.
Yep. So
I'm wondering, and maybe this discussion was already had on like a BBS forum 20 years ago, but I'm wondering if like E.T. and Yoda is like the same planet. Did they meet on
there's not supposed to be there's not supposed to be a universe crossover. That was a nod from Spielberg to his friend George Lucas. That's what that was. Because the movies came out at the same time.
Sure.
It was just a nod. The only thing is though is remember that later in the prequels it shows ETs in the Imperial Senate.
Right.
So at that time, I don't think that was the case. Later, that became the case.
So then George Lucas made it canon. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Correct. So that happened later.
My whole point is, though, I know they retcon things and they change things, and Spielberg like replaced some of the guns that the agents are carrying with walkie-talkies later, all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to tell you, this film was gorgeous. It was moving. It has all the magic that it had. It was the highest grossing movie of the 80s, the whole decade, I believe. And so really cool stuff to see it on the big screen.
Yeah, Ryan, do yourself a favor. Someday go read the story of the E.T. Atari game. That'll blow your mind away.
I know all about that. The game, we shall not speak its name. So
yes.
I think there's probably some people that would say that was one of the reasons Atari didn't make it.
Yeah, I would think so.
Alrighty. So let's keep it on the topic of off-roading. Let's pivot from the drive-in to this bad boy. Looks like Ford finally coming out. They've been talking about this concept Bronco for like what seems like forever. And it looks like they're ready to start putting it in the showroom. And it's a 2021. So it's not one of these things like we've been hearing that a lot of vehicles are actually going to skip 2021 and come out with new models in 2022. But this is a new reintroduction of this classic vehicle.
Well, they've been working on this for a long time.
Yep.
This is a long time, and I'm really excited to see this. And this thing has some really cool features. It's funny that somebody said it looks like an apocalypse vehicle. I don't see that, but This just looks like a lot of fun. I mean, this is something I would seriously consider. It's funny. I tweeted at Ford and I told them if they really wanted to impress us, they would put the high beam switch back on the floor where it belongs. I don't know if you remember that.
There you go. Yep.
Ryan, but
Yep.
but high beam switches used to be on the floor, and I would love to see them bring that back. But this thing just looks like a ton of fun. Just a ton of fun. I think it's beautiful. I'm excited for it.
The only thing that's going to be interesting is the price tag, because I don't. Well, Wrangler. If you get a fully loaded Wrangler with all the additions they have on that, I know those are pricey too, but
sitting right outside. So I think the models they're showing here are pretty jacked up, but I think that there are, just like with the Wrangler, I think there are affordable models you can get that will be really, really cool. These ones are obviously extreme high end. Right. But I'm excited. I want to see. I would not buy the first generation. I'd wait a year or two, but I'm pumped to see it. And I love the fact that the doors come off and they made it look like the ones that we all remember. And I'm excited about it. But with those wheels and those tires, they won't be coming with that.
Right. Yep. So
not as an entry model, at least.
I guess I like the idea of it. I think to get the version I would want, I'd have to take out a second mortgage probably. So
that's fine. I'll endorse that. I'll co-sign. You'll just come pick me up on weekends.
We can share it totally. How about this? I'll buy the Bronco. You get the boat. Problem solved.
Ooh, I like how you're thinking.
All right, so we've got some toy news. I think, or
this is so cool.
Is this even real? I don't.
So
know.
It is. In fact, if you go to the Lego Twitter account, they actually have a photo, video of it. It is real. They really are producing this. I think you can already pre-order it.
But here's my problem.
But it's a whole NES. I mean, how cool is that? Just where's Rob?
But is it an actual functioning video game system, or just something you sit on your shelf?
So no, it's just something that sits on your shelf. It comes with the box and the TV, but my understanding and from what I was shown, there's like a little clear piece that goes in and you can move the little Mario character so it looks like you're playing. And of course you can reconfigure the screen to show different screens from the game. I do not believe it is a functioning NES at all. It is just a Nintendo replica.
So you know that what we're gonna have to do here, right? Like, this is nice.
Buy it and put a Raspberry Pi in it and make it work.
Yeah. So you're going to have to like hollow out the case and actually put one of the mini one. They've got the mini ones already out, right? You you put a tiny screen in this TV. Like, it could be functional for a little bit more.
Will be. There's no doubt in my mind that people will figure that out, and there'll be dev kits you can buy to do that.
But I love this. This is the kind of stuff that people, you see the brick masters that are doing all the custom kits,
Now wait, before you clear the screen, look at what Grace Power said. This is cake. See, it's just cake was everywhere.
I think that's why everybody's confused about, people are talking about cake, people are talking about beans.
Am I cake?
Know. So this one excited me, and I'll tell you, it was for the wrong reasons though, because I saw this mashup. We talked about the Back to the Futures inspired Transformers and the Ghostbusters stuff.
Yep.
This one is apparently a movie tie-in with the upcoming Top Gun sequel, which is, I guess, 30 years in the making. But the problem I thought this was a replica. When at first glance, I thought it was the Veritech, the Veritech fighter that you and I are lusting for, right? But it's
RoboCop. Yes. Robotech. Jesus.
It's an F-14 Tomcat, just like from the original film. Which honestly, these aren't the actual fighters that are flown in the Navy now or in the new movie. But I do love the Tomcat.
So I love the fact that it comes with a little volleyball for the volleyball scene from Top Gun. And if you scroll down, they may show it. But if you, he's got he's got a Maverick helmet. I mean, dude, that is adorable. And I just thought that was very clever. The reason I like it is because it's got that volleyball. I just think that's really clever.
Yeah, you're right.
I just said the same thing twice.
You're right.
Okay. Friday, weekend.
Yeah, you're into volleyball. You're into the sports.
I am. I'm a two-time all regional national volleyball champion, I think. That's what I've been told. I don't know. That's not true. I'm not. I don't know how to play it.
So there was a video. Hang on. You sent me
a lot of stuff.
You sent me something from somebody named Diane Cortez on Twitter. And I don't even know.
Diane's great. So You got to follow her on. So let that roll. So this she is just a star, absolute star. Now she was making these videos. Look at the view count, 8.4 million views. You can see where she was working. She was getting customers in on these videos. Now we are social strategists, Ryan. I found out they let her go. If it had been me, I would have been like, get her onto the social team right now. Make this her job. So obviously she was a customer service rep at this organization. I would turn this into her job. I would empower her with budgets and agencies and people and whatever, writers, whatever she wanted, even if she didn't want anything, fine. But I couldn't believe when I found out they let her go.
Yeah,
so
weird.
I actually said to her, if you need help with resume writing, connecting with an agency, whatever.
Well, it's kind of weird because
this is the kind of thing you and I look for as social media strategists. Yeah. We desperately try to create results like this, and it's really hard to do. And she's doing it again and again and again.
Well, and there's all different ways to do this, but this is, I mean, quite honestly, Home Depot could use some good press. I mean, the fact that
I know.
I mean, I don't get it. Like social media, and especially
I couldn't believe it.
And Instagram, you name it. I mean, it's all about your brand. And so if this to me is a positive look at their brand by employees who are just trying to lift spirits, right? And yeah. She's doing it with a mask on, which, I mean,
she's doing it with a mask on. Now, if they had empowered her, I'm picking up my rant stick again. If they had empowered her and then had her going around to different, like if she showed up at the Home Depot here in Leominster and was making a video, or in Raleigh or wherever, people would go crazy. I mean, 8.4 million views, dude.
Yeah.
And it's what? It's not even a couple of weeks old, or if it's only a less than a month old. That's crazy.
Well, I think this is the problem with a lot of brands, and I'm not picking on this brand in particular, but I think, quite frankly, a lot of people are looking at something like TikTok and saying, what's it, it's a flash in a pan for a moment. What am I going to do with it? I just think there's the creativity that goes into this. And then, yes, there needs to be a tie back to something, else.
I just love that signature move she does. It's so funny. Yeah. She got a customer to do it.
I don't know. I just think,
I hear you, dude. I hear
brands right now that are sitting in boardrooms or not in boardrooms. They're sitting on Zoom or WebEx or whatever, and they're talking about what their TikTok strategy is. And then you have people just showing you and showing up, quite frankly. So that's interesting. I don't want to talk about Batman again. This is don't know what to say about this. So
it's tragic.
I don't know. So Grant was known in the world of entertainment for a lot of different reasons, right? He worked in ILM a bit. One of the videos that I was most fascinated about, frankly, from about a month ago, maybe it was more than a month ago, but he had made one of the fully animatronic Baby Yoda props that I guess, I don't know if he was just testing it or if it was going to be for an attraction or for something else. I don't think it was officially for the show, but I mean, really, really talented guy. And he's most well known, obviously, for Mythbusters, I think, but he's electrical engineer and, guy that was frankly so talented with robotics, and he died of a brain aneurysm. So I don't know. It hits you hard, I think, when you see all of the tributes that people made, that he touched so many lives, not just with what he did on the screen, but such
Thank you, Grant.
Yeah. Oh,
we got to wrap it up, buddy.
All righty. Well, we are wrapping it up. I think that is it for today. So, boom shakalaka.
Hey. One last thing before we go.
All right.
I'm hearing rumors, Ryan. I've heard some rumors.
What's that? What's
the rumor? I've heard some rumors that there's going to be Tron 3.
What?
And that they are. Hold on, let me get my light cycle up here too. Woo, fight for the users. Yes, I have heard that there's going to be a third Tron movie. So an executive at Disney confirmed it, said they've got an awesome script. They're trying to get the director from Legacy, get the original cast, or not the original cast, get the Tron Legacy cast back together. And what's really interesting, what I'm hearing, all rumors, is that it's about the grid coming into our world. So remember, Clue wanted to launch an attack into our world, and we know that they can make it into our world because Sam brings Cora into the real world. You see them on that bridge heading into Vancouver, of all places, at the end of Tron Legacy. So we know it's possible. So the rumor is there's going to be a third Tron movie, which I can't even begin to tell you how much I want that. They're even trying to get Daft Punk back and everything. So keep your eyes on the skies, my friends. That has nothing to do with Tron. But
here's the only problem I have, okay?
Slash Film, at Slash Film, we'll cover it when it hits.
Love Slash Film. Here's the problem. This is the only problem I have. With the way that 2020 is going, I was planning on crossing that same bridge and fleeing into Vancouver. So if Clue attacks Vancouver, we have a problem.
That could be a problem. That could be a problem.
Well, thank you, my friend. As always.
Thank you, Ryan Boyles. Water.
This has been, wait a minute, Geektastic.
Yes. Right. Wait, how do I do this? I always get this mixed up. Now show it. There we go. Geektastic. I love it.
Alrighty. Awesome, man. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that watched. You can find us on the Twitters, on the YouTubes. You can find us even on Facebook, but don't tell Graham. And make sure you tell your friends about the show. Make sure you hit the likes, the subscribes. We'd love to hear what you think, what you're geeking out about, and maybe we'll have your story on the show. So,
Week's End, we love you all so much. Have a nice weekend. I'll see you all later.
Peace.
Peace.